G'day! Welcome to the Nerdy Dad channel and the Nerdy Dad review of the third episode of Moon Knight. We will be talking about what happens in this week's episode, so there will be spoilers ahead. If you care about spoilers, save this review to your watch later list and come back later. Now, to dig into this week's episode, The Friendly Type, directed by Mohammed Diab. The stars align this week and we dig deeper into the mythology of the series. And we also get a better look at Layla's background, which takes us to the opening of the episode. The episode opens with Layla working with an older woman whom, although I don't think it's stated, I assume is her mum, to forge a passport. This scene gives us a bit of exposition into her backstory and also into where her head is at after the events of last week. I like that we get a lot more of Layla in this episode and that we really start to know who that character is. I also like that we've got a lot more of Khonshu in the episode, but more of him later. As expected, after last week, Harrow uses the Scarab to find the tomb of a mutt, and Mark Spector is on the hunt. As with last week, I am loving the interplay between Stephen and Mark. I honestly think Oscar Isaac's portrayal of these characters is the best part of the series, and that's probably a good thing, given how central those characters and their relationship is to the story. I like the way they flipped the script this week from the first episode, and it's Mark who's shown to be blanking out when Stephen takes over. We also have the strongest hint yet that there is another personality inhabiting Mark Stephen's body. Who killed Harrow's followers? Was it the, so far absent from the show, Jake Lockley persona? Or had Khonshu taken over the body? Or is there a third personality at play? Another YouTube personality suggested that Arthur Harrow himself could be the third personality. I personally find the last least likely by a considerable margin. However, I do find the possibility absolutely intriguing. In this part of the episode, we also get one of the best and almost definitely funniest scene in the episode, when Khonshu declares, I thought he'd talk, after Harrow's acolyte drops himself off a cliff. When the old bird gets desperate and has a bad idea, he calls for a meeting of the Ennead. Mark takes the portal into the Great Pyramid for this scene, which I thought was a really cool concept, but it didn't have the greatest execution. Look, before they entered the pyramid, Khonshu said that our case against Harrow must be indisputable. But while inside the pyramid, he doesn't present anything like a cohesive argument. Yes, Harrow is charismatic, and Mark Stephen's condition can make them an unreliable narrator. But they allowed themselves to be goaded, and they didn't present any of the facts that might, and might not, have swayed the other gods. They didn't even give themselves a fighting chance. Last week I said one of the most fascinating mysteries to me was, what was the origin of the split personalities of Mark and Stephen? And while it was not explicit, the scene between Mark and Layla on the boat gives me the impression that Mark has always had dissociative identity disorder. But he mostly had it under control until the event that led him being near death and being brought back by Khonshu. I enjoyed the fight at Mogart, the antiquity dealer's place. It was fun. But more importantly, before this, in the glass pyramid with the sarcophagus, Stephen starts to show his value. And equally as important, Layla recognises it. In a fight, however, Stephen, Mr. Knight, asks Mogart's guards to stand down, only to instantly recognise he has no idea what he's doing, and he asks for Mark to come back. To each personality, their own strengths. Which brings us back to Stephen's strength. Stephen puts together the star chart. Obviously, solving all those Rubik's Cubes in bed instead of sleeping made him very good at puzzles. And Khonshu, who constantly dismisses Stephen throughout the episodes, also appreciates his worth in this scene, when they wind back the stars together. And of course, after the warning earlier in the episode, winding back the stars gets Khonshu trapped in stone. Harrow is broken. There was never any doubt of it. And in Harrow's opinion at least, it was Khonshu who broke him. Mark, Stephen are also broken. It's possible that Khonshu is broken as well. If nothing else, Khonshu is currently trapped. And I don't know where they go from here. Maybe there'll be a god jailbreak, Or maybe Mark, Stephen and Layla try to take on Harrow without Khonshu. We're halfway through the series now, so let's see what Marvel brings us next week. This is the Nerdy Dad, signing off.